Tanks Vlog, July 2nd, 2017. This is the wrap-up for the day in sports. Today was the day that baseball unveiled the results for the All-Star voting, with just a week left in the first half. Well, the natural first half is basically over. Most teams have played their 81 games, but next week is the All-Star break, so we're getting close and closer to the real nitty-gritty time in baseball. So today they unveiled the All-Star rosters, and Aaron Judge, of course, the New York Yankees, was the big star. He garnered the most votes since he's become a phenom with his long home runs. He's leading a lot of Triple Crown categories. It's interesting to see a number of first-time starters that have been chosen, especially in the American League. Justin Smoak was elected to be the first baseman. Jose Ramirez of the Indians was elected to start third base. Carlos Correa, his first All-Star game, he's going to be starting for shortstop for the Houston Astros. George Springer's first All-Star game, he was the #1 pick first time. Corey Dickerson of the Rays is the starting designated hitter. In the National League, it's Zach Cozart. He won the shortstop position over Corey Seager. A bit of a surprise there. The Dodgers, no starters. Despite being the best team in the National League, I guess their fans didn't get the vote out. Ryan Zimmerman, who's the obvious choice for comeback player of the year, he'll be starting at first base. Daniel Murphy, again, starting for at second base for the Nationals. No Cubs starting this year. Last year was all Cubs. This year there's almost no Cubs. In fact, the only Cub right now on the roster is Wade Davis. This is indicative of how poorly they've played in the first half. They've changed the voting around, so no more picking of the teams by the managers, which is helpful because, you know, Joe Maddon would have probably put a lot more Cubs in there. Although Chris Bryant is a part of the final vote, and he's probably the favorite, although Justin Turner probably deserves it. He's among there with Justin Bour of the Marlins, Anthony Rendon of the Nationals, and Mark Reynolds of the Rockies. The American League final vote is Elvis Andres of the Rangers, Xander Bogaerts of the Red Sox, Didi Gregorius of the Yankees, Logan Morrison of the Rays, and Mike Moustakas of the Royals. I think the odds-on favorite for that to win that is going to be Bogaerts. Among the pitchers to go, Clayton Kershaw, although he's not going to start. He's supposedly scheduled to start Sunday for the Dodgers, so that's likely going to wipe him out from starting. The lone Met going is Michael Conforto, who's naturally on the disabled list, so likely the Mets are going to be no All-Stars again. It's incredible. Ray Ramirez, the most destructive force in baseball. Jacob deGrom arguably could have gone to the All-Star game, although I'm not sure. I'd rather see him rest, knowing the Mets' history and luck with injuries. As today's game, Rafael Montero had a bad second inning, and that was basically the difference, although the bullpen was awful. Chasen Bradford. It's time for Chasen to get chased away. Bye-bye, Bradford. How much garbage does the Mets have in that damn bullpen? Are you telling me that Sandy could have picked up anybody? Are you telling me there is nobody out there for them to pick up? This bullpen is horrendous. See, this is the fool's gold. Any chance the Mets had of coming back, it's utterly hopeless and fruitless. Now they're going to go to Washington. You know, they see that curly W, the Mets crawl into the fetal position. Daniel Murphy's probably going to have a monster series. They'll probably get swept in Washington, and that's going to be all she wrote. Then they go to St. Louis. The Cardinals are starting to play a little bit better. So they'll be 10 games below 500 again at the break next week. So then the Mets can do the right thing and sell off some players and get some relievers. Horrendous. You know, we talk about firing Terry Collins. We should also fire Sandy Alderson, because he had a miserable offseason. He gets an F for the work he did this offseason. He was a failure. Meanwhile, the New York Yankees are ice cold. They lost 2 out of 3 to the Astros. Got pounded today, 8-1. Red Sox now red hot. They've won 4 in a row, have a 3-game lead in the American League East, as they beat up on the Toronto Blue Jays. Oh, the Blue Jays. Yes, they're sailing south for the winter. And it is the winter in Toronto. 9.5 out in the American League East. Sitting in last place. It's just been a bad year in Toronto. There's no hope for these birds. Orioles, despite their pitching woes, they're just 1 game below 500. They're still in the wild card race, but I just don't think they're going to be a realistic factor. Cleveland Indians, they're starting to pick it up. They got now a 3-game lead in the Central. I think that eventually they will rise to the top. I can't see anyone in that division overcoming them. The Twins have played well. They've been a big surprise, but now they're starting to come back to earth a little bit. They're only 1 game above 500, 41-40. The Royals, who had a really bad start, they're 41-40. Good comeback, but I just don't think they have enough gas or energy to catch the Indians. And the Tigers and White Sox, they're going to be sellers. And it's just a matter of time before Brad Osmus is leaving Detroit. The Astros, they remain the best team in the American League. 56-27, a commanding 14.5 game lead over the Los Angeles Angels. And everyone else in that division is just fighting for the wild card. The A's are probably out of the wild card race after getting swept by the Braves this weekend. They're the worst team in the American League at the current point at 35-47. National League East, the Washington Nationals are 48-34. They're in command, 7.5 game lead on the Braves. Mets in third, 9.5 out. I think the Mets have a better shot at the division in the wild card, to tell you the truth, unless the Rockies continue to fold. And the Rockies have been bad. They lost 2 out of 3 to the Diamondbacks this weekend. Diamondbacks, big surprise. I think you have to say they're the surprise of the year in the National League. They're 52-31. They're almost a lock right now to make the playoffs. They had to really have a bad second half to not make the playoffs. Cubs won today, so they're back at 500, and it's incredible to say that. And the Brewers just continue to lead. They're the only team above 500 in that division. Only team above 500 in that division. Today's Sports Encyclopedia, we look at the Diamondbacks, at their surprise run, how they're really a surprise team in the National League, and they're in command in the wild card race. Our 3 stars today is Mookie Betts, who had 8 RBIs for the Red Sox. Max Scherzer, who allowed just 2 hits and struck out 12 in 7 innings for the Nationals in the Sunday night game against the Cardinals. And Jake Arrieta, who pitched 7 innings, allowing just 1 hit and 6, while striking out 6 as the Cubs salvaged the final game of a series against the Reds. Today's birthday shout-out is to Moises Alou, who turns 51. Meanwhile, we look back at Rube Marquardt's remarkable 21-game winning streak on Barstool Sports and the Sports Encyclopedia. That's all we have for today. Visit Barstool Sports, visit Sports Encyclopedia. Good day.